Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Saturday everyone. Hope everyone's Memorial Day weekend is going well so far. So time for another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. And it's the second Saturday episode where I worked on my own stuff. And that is for the most part going to be what I do now on Saturdays is try and give my own project some love. So why don't we go ahead and get into that, see what happened around here today on my cars. And then actually there's some stuff that I haven't shown you guys that happened on some customer cars too. So we'll also show you that. But let's start with this. So these are the carburetors, get in some better light here. These are the carburetors, the dual carburetors for my 56 convertible Beetle, and it does have the Wolfsburg West dual Okrasa kit on it. If you saw last week's episode where I was talking about the car sat for, I'm guessing, about 2 years without being started or anything for that matter. And so I started it last weekend. I actually managed to take it for a drive and it ran okay, but not surprisingly, the idle circuit or the low speed circuit just felt a little like sputtery, and like the carburetors probably needed a good rebuild. So I went ahead and pulled them today, and as you can see, went through and completely rebuilt one of them. So here's sort of the before and after. Of course, what's important is not so much the outside of the carburetor, other than for obvious aesthetic reasons, but the inside. So it honestly, guys, it didn't look that bad inside. I was kind of more expecting to see more gummed up dry fuel and stuff, but I guess having run fuel through it and drove it, it did manage to dissolve some of that stuff. But nonetheless, went through and cleaned out the passages and the jets and everything like that, put in a rebuild kit and put this one back together. So now I need to do the same to this one and then put them back on the car, and I think it's gonna run much smoother, much better. And so that was one thing that happened on the convertible, kind of the bigger thing. The other thing that happened, so pretty gross actually, they seemed to have been seeping fuel for some time. Anyway, so the other thing that happened on the convertible, let's go ahead and walk out here, is when I was driving it last weekend, just getting in and out of the car, I noticed that the driver's side seat felt very wonky, like a lot of movement in the seat, just, getting in and out of the car. And what I found was that the frame or the seat rails that are welded to the floor were loose. Actually, they were sort of welded on in the back, but whatever spot welds were towards the front of actually both the inner and outer ones, at least on the driver's side, were both the welds had just broke, and so the seat was just kind of flopping around here. And not a good situation, guys. Seats need to be attached to the floor in no uncertain terms. So went ahead and pulled out the driver's side seat and kind of peeled the carpet and stuff back, and then had my paint and body guy Rene go ahead and remove the paint in a few areas down there, and then add some welds on both, again, the inner and outer rail. And then super solid now. So yeah, just a little thing. I feel like I had noticed the seat moving around some before. I used to drive this car a lot, and I guess it had probably gotten worse over time. And then I parked the car and hadn't really thought about it until I drove it again the other day. But so little things like that is good. So that is the other thing that happened on this one today. And just because, why not? Let's show you the engine here. So yeah, there it is, 36 horse, not numbers matching to the car. This motor is out of maybe like a 58 or 59, I think, Beetle. But with a Wolfsburg West dual Okrasa kit, which you can see, the carbs seem to have been seeping for a while. So maybe either before or after I put the carburetors back on, I'll give this motor kind of a quick detail. It's mostly just dusty, but yeah, it could stand to look a lot better. Again, this is not a motor that me or the shop built. This is one that came in the car, which I've done almost nothing to this car other than mostly drive it. But anyway, yeah, there it is. So just waiting to get its carburetors back. So that was this guy for today. Now let's see what happened on the split window here, 52 standard split window. So this one, I finally got around to doing something that I had wanted to do for a long time and kind of been saving parts for it, is I put the correct battery in it. And so on these, especially on these earlier cars, there's no kick panels or anything here. So the battery is like right there for you to see. And so you can't really hide it if you have a big, ugly, wrong battery or whatever. I did order the badge for it, like similar to what we put on the barn door bus. So that'll be sort of icing on the cake once I get that and adhere that on there. But in the meantime, let me show you guys something a lot of you have maybe never seen before. I do still need to get the correct ground strap for this. It should be one of those, like 1-inch wide braided ones. But in the meantime, this works. But what I wanted to show you guys was on early cars how the battery cover is actually held down. And you guys are probably used to, on 6-volt cars, the strap that goes over the top, and there's like a buckle that you move sort of a lever back and it tightens the thing down. Well, on early cars like this split window, like up to I guess September 52, they used these spring-loaded deals here that held on the lid. And so I didn't have these, but I got those from, I think it's God, I always forget, guys. It's either DKB or DBK. I think it's DKB. The company, they make a lot of stuff like this, metal, primarily like metal stuff, like body panels and stuff like that for early cars. But yeah, they actually make reproductions of these clips, which are super nice. And again, I didn't have these. They also have the springs with the clips. I didn't like their springs because they were zinc plated and very bright, and I'm pretty positive they're supposed to be black. And I did have a pair of black springs, but yeah, super nice touch here having this correct. The other thing is that the battery on these early cars is smaller than later 6-volt cars. So most later 6-volt cars take a size 19L battery. These guys are a little bit smaller, and they're pretty tiny little batteries. And then likewise, the cover for them is also specific to those earlier smaller batteries. And this one is called riveted because the sort of piece of wood in there that insulates the two terminals on here is riveted on. Again, if you're used to 6-volt cars, you're probably used to the ones where there's like a little tab on each side that's bent over from the underside that holds the piece of wood in. But yeah, early ones, that piece of wood is actually riveted in. So this is a riveted cover. And let me unfasten these and just show you the top of the battery real quick. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Kind of a two-hand job to get these latches off. But anyway, here is the battery itself. So probably should have cleaned it a little bit better before I put it in. But yeah, super cool old school battery with the external straps that connect the various cells together. And yeah, so this battery I bought from a well-known VW part supplier. I'm not going to say who, but they do have these in stock. And the thing with them is that they've had these for, I don't know, maybe years, maybe decades. I'm not sure. But they're stored dry, so there's no acid, no liquid in them at all. And so I've had this battery for probably 6 or 8 months at least, just sitting there waiting for the day to go into this car. And so you can actually buy battery acid, believe it or not, at like AutoZone, O'Reilly's, etc. And so, yeah, I finally went and bought some. It comes in not real big containers, but it took 3 containers to fill this battery up. And so, yeah, you pretty much just pour it into the cells and let it sit for a while, like a chemical reaction essentially starts, and you'll feel it kind of get warm. So once you get it filled up, you let it sit for, yeah, I don't know if there's like an exact time, until it's not really warm to the touch anymore. And then you can go ahead and put it on a charger and bring it up to full voltage. The thing that I found interesting, and again, guys, I'm not a chemist, obviously, but once I got acid in here, just for the fun of it, I stuck a voltmeter across it, and the thing basically had like 6.1 volts even without having charged it. So I guess just the chemical reaction of everything with, you know, everything fresh in there, so to speak, it basically just generated voltage pretty much on its own. I probably should have tried to start the car with it like that, just out of curiosity. I don't think it would have started the car, but anyway, I went ahead and charged it up and brought it up to like 6.3 volts or whatever. And yeah, there it goes. Turns over the car really, really well. But yeah, so this is a little detail here that I've been wanting to do for this car for a long time. I have ordered the correct seat material for this car, which is on its way from Germany. The door panel material I have to find, and I do have the correct center tunnel mat for this car too. So this car is going to be getting some upholstery love here pretty soon as far as making the interior correct, which now is actually out of a deluxe Beetle, not a standard like this one. Hold on a sec. Okay guys, I promised to update you on some other projects here. So this is the 67 Beetle, which is going to be Java green. This obviously is not Java green, but it's some green paint or turquoise paint that we had laying around. What we did on this car, a little bit different than what we've done on some other cars, is we went ahead and sprayed a base coat on it, just to like let it do all the absorbing that it's going to do and so on into the primer, and to be at least close to the final color. And then we'll lay the final color down over this. So what's going to happen next on this car is going to be fully sand the whole thing, probably with like 600 grit. Look for any little imperfections that are going to be much easier to see with paint on it compared to primer. And then at that point, yeah, this thing is going to get color. So this coming week, I will probably early in the week go and buy a couple gallons of Java green 2-stage paint for this thing, and yeah, then we'll get some color on this baby. So the chassis for it is at Washburn's now. They're working on it already, so that should be coming along. Already got the suspension and transmission are all kind of in process right now. So yeah, this car will start going together pretty fast here once we get some paint on it. Even after we paint it though, it won't go indoors for probably like a couple, maybe a few weeks, because as you guys know, if you follow us, once the car is painted and has you know, half a week or so to dry, that's when we go ahead and do all the color sanding and buffing and stuff on it. And then at that point it'll make its way indoors. But yeah, there you go guys. So pretty big update on this. I think all the front and back lids and the doors are also painted in the same color. I don't know about the sunroof on it or not, but yeah, so pretty soon this thing will be Java green and should be looking pretty amazing. Such a great color. The other thing that got finished up yesterday is the headliner on this bad boy. Take a quick look at that. Yeah, there you go. So it's like an Alcantara type material. So Santiago said the material was actually pretty hard to work with, more so than the usual materials that we use for headliners, because apparently this stuff doesn't really stretch really at all in the same way the materials that we usually use for headliners do. So a little bit of a challenge to you know, get it around some of the corners and stuff like that. But of course, Santiago being Santiago did it and made it look unbelievable. So yeah, there you go guys. I'll update on this one as well. So I don't know if he's gonna work Monday or not. I will be here for part of the day, but the next step for this car is to go ahead and do the carpet kit, and then our little piece of this car is done after that. So anyway guys, that is the update for now. Like I said, I will be in Monday for probably about half a day, and I'll be back to customer cars. Although I may take some time out and finish this other carburetor, because I do want to get the oval window convertible back on the road. But at least for now, guys, that is it. So thank you guys all very much for watching. Hope everyone enjoys the rest of your long weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.